reading called Rocks by Nicole Johnson. In biblical times, there was a way people dealt with sin. Rocks. Remember when they brought her in? They threw her down in the dirt and gathered around her angrily with rocks in their hands. Clothes, if she had any, torn off. Tears spilling in the dirt in shame. Or maybe anger. Where was the man? Was she his heart's love? Or just the afternoon's activity? No way to know. But either way, he wasn't there, she was alone, and they would be on her. They, the self-proclaimed upholders of moral righteousness. They, the super-religious, pious pillars of the assembly, armed with worked-up indignation and bludgeoning hypocrisy. She was in big trouble. She had sinned, deadening into a circle of angry religious people with rocks in their hands. Ever been there? Interesting thing about throwing rocks, especially when you throw them hard, it feels good. A sort of relief that makes you feel a little safer somewhere inside. Like the rock takes on the evil and you cast it away from yourself. No, you feel inside, you can't do that. You were wrong. That was bad. Like you've done your part to stop it. I told her exactly what I think of that sin. Whop! Done. The problem is, rocks don't hit sin. Rocks hit people. Remember the scene in the movie Forrest Gump when Jenny visits her childhood house? She stares at the old shack of her daddy, her trusted daddy, used for like a trash receptacle. She picks up a small rock, flings it at the house, and breaks the window. She stares and stares, and as the tears start to sink, she throws another rock as hard as she can. She throws and throws, another and another, flinging and crying until she just collapses to the ground. Quietly, and in his simple way, Forrest pronounces, "Sometimes there aren't enough rocks." There aren't. Jenny was hurling those rocks at the right thing. Sin, dark, the blackness that overcomes hearts and makes people unrecognizable as human beings. But there aren't enough rocks in the whole world to beat the sin out, because it is in us. What we want to beat out of people with our rocks has never come out yet. So when one man stepped forward out of the crowd, he somehow reminded a group of people who wanted to beat the sin out of her that it wasn't possible, and he wasn't going to let them try just so they could feel better. They could kill her, but it wouldn't solve the bigger problem. And he came to solve the bigger problem, so that we don't have to try with our little, pathetic rocks. But we won't put our rocks down. And women can be the worst. A group of teenagers is killed on a Friday night and we love our rocks. Well, they shouldn't have been drinking. No, they shouldn't have. But does that ease the pain and guilt for their mothers? A young girl is bravely leaving a party. She was wearing a short skirt. She deserves exactly what she got. Drag her into the circle and throw your rock. Nobody really knows that that man scribbled in the dirt. I wonder if he wrote the names of the men in the crowd she had slept with. Some say he just traced the gospel patterns over and over again, giving the people time for their anger to diminish. Because what if he then wrote, "She is your daughter"? Whatever he wrote, he backed it up with these words: "Let anyone who is among you without any blackness in his own heart step forward and throw your rock." Silence. And in the silence, he saved us all. He leveled the playing field, giving those of us who have made the worst choices in our lives a place to be broken, but not destroyed. Giving a picture that he would stand between us and them. And to those of us who feel that we have right and reason to throw that rock, he gave us the freedom to choose love instead. And that is a drop your rock moment. They come at different times for each of us. Maybe you've come running your rock, only to see your loved one in the center of the circle. And what was so easy to judge before, now has a face and eyes. When your son tells you he's homosexual, or when your best friend confesses in agony that he's having an affair, or when your sister tearfully describes the abortion. And maybe the anger comes first, and your teeth clench, and your grip on the rock tightens, and you want to throw it. You want to tell them what you think of that sin. Just beat it out of them. But you can't. And your tears fall, and your fingers loosen, and you realize that you can drop the rock. Listen to that sound. Can you imagine how she felt that day when Jesus stepped between her and the crowd, the church, hunched over, waiting for the pain of all those rocks to hit her, but instead, hearing them drop one by one by one? Have you ever trembled and told a friend something you'd done horribly wrong, and then emotionally hunched over, waiting for the pain of their stone-cold words of judgment to hit you? But instead, you hear the flat thud of grace as their rock hits the ground. Our little rocks will never change the world. Only Pop Market would hang fear. Maybe when he hit down on the dirt, he wrote, "My rock is bigger than yours, and I'll handle this one." Because his rock is the only one that ever changes anything.